Hi, welcome back to Happily in the Middle. Thanks again for joining me here at my channel. Don't forget to hit subscribe because I'm going to be sharing a lot of classroom management tips over, the next few weeks. So just hit subscribe so you don't miss anything. Today I'm going to share with you just like a really simple classroom management tip, and this will go pretty quickly. And this is a classroom management tip for collecting papers from students. I read this I think in a book, or maybe someone told me, but I have no idea because I've read so many teacher books about classroom management. But this tip is all about collecting papers from students. Now, I think this is really effective no matter what your classroom setup is. So you just have to look at your classroom desk organization and figure out whatever you have and then adjust it, I guess, to whatever you have. So this has worked. I've done rows in my classroom, and I've had groups in my classroom. I've had partners in my classroom. So it works. You just have to figure out how it will work for your setup. So this is my tip. When you instruct students that you will be collecting papers from them, what I have done, and this is, let's just give the example of the in rows situation, because I know a lot of classrooms are in rows. However, mine are in collaborative groups currently. So if your students are in rows and you say, okay, we're going to collect, let's say, a class assignment that the students just completed, you're going to teach the procedure that students will begin with the back person in the row, and they will pass the paper forward, and the person in front of them will wait to pass their paper forward until they have the paper from the person behind them. So that way, let's say the second to the last person, at the front of the row, they're not going to pass their papers to the front of the row until they have everyone's paper from behind them, and then they pass the whole stack forward. So this makes it really easy because students are only passing papers forward one time in the classroom. And additionally, I've added an extra layer to this where the students were competing as their rows, or actually as a whole class. I've done it differently, but they have competed as a whole class. So the class that passes their papers forward the fastest wins some kind of class prize, where I've brought cookies or brownies, or they've got extra dojo points, or whatever motivates that class, like pencils for a day or a day of free seating, whatever motivates your students. So I just have the class periods written on the board, and then I will use a timer and I'll click it on and they pass them forward. And I've gotten papers forward as fast as 7 seconds, and it's so awesome. And then I have one student whose job it is to actually take the entire stack, because once they're forward in the front of the room, then the person on the far side of the room will pass their whole stack to the right, and then that person will pass theirs to the right, and then they'll pass all of them, so that then the whole class of papers ends up in one student's hands at the end of the beginning of the row, and then that student will turn it into the inbox. So I never have to touch the papers. It's really nice because it goes really fast, because the students are motivated and competing to be the fastest class. Now, I've also done this in collaborative groups of 4 or 5, and so it's really simple. You just have all the students hand it to one person in the group. That person has a nice pile, and then they pass it to the group over next to them, and that group waits to pass theirs over till they have the group on the other side, and then the whole stack gets passed until one person has the entire class's stack. When you do it with pairs, you just have one of the pairs is partner A or B. Partner B gives their paper to A, and then A passes both papers across the row of the partner, groupings, and then the same kind of idea works. So it's a really quick and easy way. I love the added piece of timing students because it's really motivating, and it gets your papers forward in under 10 seconds, and then you can just move on to whatever you need to move on next in the class. It's also a really great time that you can just flip over your PowerPoint to whatever your next procedure is. So get out these materials as soon as your paper is forward. Just makes class go really smooth. Thanks so much for joining me here at Happily in the Middle. I hope that classroom management tip was really helpful for collecting papers from your students. Don't forget to hit subscribe, because I'm going to be sharing with you a lot of classroom management tips for the middle school classroom. Thanks. Have a great day.